Imagine walking into a room and the moment you speak, people roll their eyes. They interrupt you, dismiss your ideas, or worse, laugh at your opinions. It feels humiliating, doesn't it? But what if I told you that you could flip the script without raising your voice, without begging for respect? Stick with me and I'll show you 6 bold moves that will silence anyone who dares to disrespect you. Stay to the end because the last move is the most powerful. It's one that turns doubters into believers and forces even the most disrespectful people to acknowledge your worth. Hey there, and welcome to Ignited by Morals, where we share stories and lessons to help you live your best life. Let's get started. The first bold move is to own your presence. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and immediately command attention without even saying a word? That's presence. The way you stand, the way you move, or even the way you make eye contact sends a message: I belong here. People subconsciously respect those who exude confidence. If you slouch, eye contact, or fidget nervously, you signal weakness. Instead, stand tall, keep your chin up, and take up space. This simple shift forces others to take you seriously before you even speak. For example, picture Sarah, a young professional, constantly talking over in meetings. Instead of shrinking back, she started sitting at the center of the table, keeping her posture strong and speaking with a steady voice. Suddenly, people stopped interrupting her. Another move is to master the art of pause. Silence is a weapon. When someone talks over you or dismisses you, don't rush to a response. Instead, pause. Let the silence stretch just long enough to make them uncomfortable. Then calmly say, I wasn't finished. People expect you to either react emotionally or back down when you do neither. Instead, hold your ground with calm control. They start seeing you differently once you do that. Example: Jake, a manager, always found his ideas dismissed in meetings. Instead of getting defensive, he started pausing after interruptions, making people feel the weight of their own rudeness. It worked. Suddenly, his voice carried more weight. Setting boundaries without apology is another key move. Disrespect thrives where there is no boundaries. If someone keeps undermining you, call it out firmly and directly. Here is a powerful phrase: I don't allow people to speak to me that way. Most people aren't used to direct confrontation, especially when it's calm and firm. But when you set boundaries, it forces others to rethink how they treat you. For example, Lisa's colleague kept making sarcastic remarks about her work. One day, she looked him in the eye and said, that comment was unnecessary. If you have constructive feedback, I am happy to hear it. Since then, the sarcasm stopped instantly. Control the flame. Controlling the flame is an important move. In any social interaction, there is a flame, the underlying tone that determines who holds power. People who undermine you are trying to control the flame, making you feel weak or insignificant. Instead of reacting defensively to an undermining comment, flip your question. Flipping the question back forces the power person to explain themselves by shifting the power dynamic. For example, if someone says that's a dumb idea, don't get defensive. Instead, ask, what parts specifically do you think won't work? This forces them to engage logically instead of replying on dismissiveness. The human brain hates cognitive dissonance when you force people to explain their disrespects. They often backpedal. Use their name repeatedly is also an important move. Names have power. When you use someone's names, you subtly shift the dynamic and establish control. If someone disrespects you, wave their name into your response. For example, if Mark constantly interrupts you, say, Mark, I like to finish my points. This forces their brain to register your authority. Studies shows that hearing our own name activates our brain's reward system. Even disrespectful people subconsciously react to that. The last and the most powerful moves is the power of indifference. Here's the ultimate move, the one that stops disrespect in its tracks. Instead of reacting emotionally, show indifference. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. When someone disrespects you, don't argue, don't explain. Just give them a blank stare and move on. For example, when Tom's boss belittled him in front of others, instead of looking hurt, he smiled slightly, nodded, and went back to his work. The boss never got the reaction he wanted and eventually stopped. People who seek to undermine you strives on your emotional response. When you refuse to give them that satisfaction, they lose interest. Now you have 6 bold moves to silence anyone who disrespects you. But remember, respect isn't demanded, it's commanded through your actions. Which one of these moves will you try first? Let me know in the comments, and if you find this valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights on mastering confidence and respect. See you in the next one. Bye bye.